Hey boys and girls, welcome to Levy School. Hey, welcome back to Levy School, where we answer all the most common questions, address all the most common concerns, and hopefully clear up some of the most common misconceptions regarding school levies in general, but specifically the levy for Anthony Wayne schools that'll be on the November 5th ballot. The question for Levy School today is, what is this levy going to cost me? So the levy that you'll see on the November 5th ballot is a 5-year, $2.42 million operating levy. It'll generate $3.3 million in operating revenue for the school district per year. But what does any of that mean? It's not this simple, but think of school districts as being funded from 3 different buckets. So you have the federal government, you have the state government, and then you have revenue that's generated from people like us who pay local taxes, the most common of which is the tax that we pay on our property. So how do you calculate property tax? It's called a mill. Do you have a question, ma'am?
No, I know this one. Mill stands for million.
That's a good guess. And a lot of people, that's a common misconception that mill stands for million, but that's actually not what it stands for. This levy's not generating $2.42 million. We're not asking any taxpayer to pay $2.42 million. A mill is actually a particular dollar amount or a certain dollar amount per $1,000 of your home's assessed value. So in this case, it's a $2.42 million levy, which means in addition to the tax you already pay that goes to the school system, you'll pay an additional $2.42 for every $1,000 of your home's assessed value.
Yes, I completely understand all of this, but my friend here would like some help maybe working through an example to help him understand.
Sure, no problem. So the median household in the Anthony Wayne School District has a market value of $390,000. So just to make the math easy, let's say $400,000. So the average home in the Anthony Wayne School community could sell on the market for $400,000. But you actually don't pay tax on that amount. You pay tax on the local auditor's assessed value of that, which is 35% of the market value. So take your home's market value, $400,000, multiply it by 0.35, and the value that you actually pay tax on would be $140,000. Now, we're going to take that $140,000 and we're going to multiply it by the millage. So take $140,000 and multiply it by 0.00242. And what you're going to get is about $340, which means that if you vote yes for this levy and the levy passes, you're going to pay $340 more in property tax over the course of the year, or about $170 per half, or about $28 a month. Now listen, I don't want to minimize that. I understand the last several years have been hard with inflation and everything has been more expensive. You feel that. I feel that. Nobody wants their taxes to go up. I don't want my tax to go up. I understand that we all feel that pinch. For some of us, the thought of our taxes going up even $5 is too much. So I'm not going to say things like, well, if you would just eat out one less time a month, or if you would just skip one round of golf, or if you would just buy the generic brand every once in a while, you'd be able to make that up. I understand that this feels like a pinch. I get it. So let's just call it what it is. Voting to increase your taxes, voting yes for a school levy, it is a sacrifice. You are choosing to vote a value. Again, public education is a public trust. It's something that we say is important, an important value for us. And it's an expensive one. And sometimes that means costs go up. And for us to vote yes, we are making a value decision. We're saying, I am willing to sacrifice a little more on my end to make sure that everybody in our community gets an education. Okay? But I have some good news. Okay? First, you are currently paying into a bond issue, which is just another kind of tax. That bond issue is going to come off your taxes at the end of the year. So if you vote yes for this levy and it passes, your taxes are going to go up, but they're not going to go up as much as they otherwise would have. Oh, ma'am, you have another question or comment?
So is it kind of like I need to go get gas, so I'm gonna go to Kroger to get my gas, but because I bought groceries there, my gas is a little less expensive?
That's exactly right. That's exactly how it works. Your taxes are going to go up, but they're not going to go up as much as they otherwise would have. That's a great example.
That is good news. And didn't you say this is only a 5-year levy?
I did, and that's the second piece of good news. This is a temporary ask. This is not permanent. The district is not asking you to increase your taxes for the rest of your life. They're asking for a 5-year levy. So 5 years from now, just like the bond issue is going to come off this year, this tax levy will come off 5 years from now. And here's the last piece of good news. A lot of decisions like this tend to put you in a kind of ethical bind. It forces you to choose between helping somebody else or helping yourself. Of course, you want to be the kind of person who helps other people, but you can't overlook your own needs and wants. The great thing about school levies, especially temporary ones, they don't really ask you to do that. Voting to help other people, in this case, is also voting to support yourself. There's a connection between great school systems and great property values. Let me just give you a personal example. My wife and I built our home 11 years ago. Today, we could probably sell that house on the market for $200,000 more than it cost us to build it. That means technically, you could increase my taxes by $500 a year for the next 400 years, and I would still break even. Now, I know increased property value is not the same as money out of your pocket. It's not apples to apples. I'm just trying to help us to see that in this case, there is a relationship between a great school system and your own material prosperity in the terms of your property values. People want to move to our area because there's a great school system, which means your homes are more desirable and therefore more valuable. So the good news here is that even though it's a sacrifice to vote to increase your taxes, that sacrifice is also helping yourself. You're helping others, and you're also helping yourself in the process. Look, again, public education is a public trust. It's based on a value that we share, that we want to educate every person in our community. That is a remarkably expensive value, but it is one that is both noble and it is also essential to our shared prosperity. We here at Levy School, we just feel grateful for the people who made our education possible, and we feel a sense of responsibility to want to do for others what was done for us. We hope you feel the same way. If you do, join us and vote yes for Anthony Wayne Schools on November 5th. Hey, thanks for attending. We'll see you back here real soon for the next episode of Levy School, where we'll talk about what does this levy pay for?